Hey everyone, welcome to Invasive Species, the series where we run Hoenn mons in Kanto and Kanto mons in Hoenn. Trapinch exceeded expectations during his adventure through the OG region, saw a Cubone fare in the region with too much water. Before we dive into specifics, here's a quick rundown of the rules, then you can find them outlined in great detail in the description below. We use max IVs, no items in battle. Held items are okay, we pick the nature and, if applicable, ability. We choose the hidden power type, and all Pokemon have access to a single egg move. So, Cubone's base stats are quite different compared to Trapinch. 35 base speed is pretty bad, but after using Trapinch, this feels pretty great. We'll actually outspeed stuff. Our defense is pretty good, considering that we're a pre-evolved Mon, and that'll come in handy for the Pokemon Champion. Otherwise, these are pretty meh. This level up moveset just baffles me. Like, Zangoose gets Swords Dance at 10, but Cubone doesn't get an attacking move until level 9? After Bone Club, it'll pick up nicely. Double Edge is what we really want, especially since we have Rockhead as our ability. As far as our TMs go, Cubone's coverage is interesting. Can't say I would expect this little guy to have a decent array of special moves. As a ground type, we'll definitely be teaching Earthquake as soon as we get the TM for it, which is after the 7th gym. We may even use Sunny Day and Flamethrower or Fire Blast strats against the champion too, since Steven does specialize in steel types. So normally we'd be in a bit of a pickle here with that level up moveset, or the starting one anyway. But here's where having our egg move actually helps us out even more than usual. Yeah, that's right, our starting moves are so worthless that we'd actually have to skip over Swords Dance. It took me a minute to decide, and I think Ancient Power is the way to go. 5 power points does mean that we'll be healing a lot until we get Bone Club, but at least we can actually attack. At this rate, I feel like the Egg Move Edition just straight up fixes early game Cubone because, my god, these old school gen move lists can be wild. Ancient Power also provides us with some great coverage, and of course, the 10% chance to boost all stats by one stage, always a welcome addition to our collection. And you know what else is awesome? Having the type advantage against Rustboro's gym leader, Roxanne. Now, checking our time before we battle her, you're gonna see just how slow we were in the beginning because, again, 5 power points of Ancient Power, then we have to go to a Poke Center just so we can attack 5 times again. That also means we had to pick our trainers carefully until we got Bone Club. Even then, the early game is abundant with Bug and even Grass-type trainers, so Bone Club isn't, well, I'd say it isn't perfect, but it does have 85 accuracy, and boy does it love to miss. Still, that's what we're spamming against Roxanne, and while we deal super effective damage, Geodude and Nosepass have really good defense, and they can buff it with Defense Curl for Geodude, and Harden for Nosepass respectively. We've equipped an Oranberry just in case things get dicey with a bit of unluck. But yeah, Roxanne is no problem whatsoever, and I don't think Brawly will be either. In Ruby Sapphire, Brawly only has 2 Mons on his team, Machop and Makuhita. Thanks to our high defense, the most dangerous move is Seismic Toss for Machop. This move deals a set amount of damage equal to the Mon's level, so for Machop it'll always be 17 damage. Makuhita isn't going to be that big of a deal, I don't think. Now, Brawly does lead off with Machop. We are going to go for Bone Club, and thankfully it does hit, and flinch. I actually forgot it did that. We go for Headbutt, no flinch, tank a Karate Chop, and then we take out the Machop without much of a problem. As Makuhita comes out, there's that 85 accuracy in action. Makuhita knocks off our Oranberry. In Gen 3, it is 20 base power and dictated by Special being a dark move. Now, check this out. Makuhita has pretty powerful moves like Vital Throw and gets the same type attack bonus from it. But he keeps on going for knockoff. I mean, I know our defense is good. I didn't think it was that good, though. Surely he would be doing more damage with Vital Throw or Arm Thrust. But hey, I'm not going to complain. A first try victory is a first try victory. That said, we are about to lose our little miniature no-loss streak here against the Cycling Road rival because she has Wailmer with Water Gun and Grovyle with Absorb right now. But later on it's going to get Leaf Blade, which is why I chose Grovyle. That and Grass resist ground type. Thankfully, May also loves wasting turns with Splash. Grovyle is of course faster, and although Absorb is weak, we are weak to it, and Grovyle gets the same type attack bonus from it. Sadly, no Ancient Power boost, and we end up going down, though we did a lot better than I was expecting. Now, you know we're in for a tough time when Wailmer is considered an obstacle. Yeah, it's not a very strong Pokemon, but we are also not playing as a strong Pokemon. The same type Water Gun coupled with our low special defense, especially if we get critically hit, Yeah, that's a nice recipe for a disaster. And now, Bone Club will deal quite a bit more damage to Wilmer thanks to the same type attack bonus. However, I think going for Ancient Power here is the play, because if we get the boost, we might end up being faster than Grovyle. Not sure. And hey, look at that. We do get the Omni boost, so let's see if that makes a difference. Probably should have gone for Bone Club there. I got really greedy with Ancient Power. But it is good to see how much damage we deal with a single Ancient Power boost. So with a bit better gameplay there, we should be able to make progress without having to go level up. Let's just hope this doesn't take too long to get another Omni boost. Speak of the devil. Now, sticking to Ancient Power isn't the worst thing here. Headbutt is stronger, but because we're still slower, might as well try going for another one. And hey, worst case scenario, we can get a critical hit, and then we're smooth sailing from here because Newell is weak to Bone Club. So naturally, we used Headbutt. Next up is Wattson, and because he's the Electric-type gym leader, his best attacks are not going to work on us. That said, it's not as free as Lieutenant Surgeon Kanto because his Magnemite and Magneton have Sonic Boom and Supersonic, so they're not completely defenseless against ground types. But we now have Bone Meringue, and Magnemite and Magneton are 4 times weak to ground moves, so this is still going to be a pretty easy fight. I enjoy when Wattson is a freebie. The next trainer, Maxie on Mount Chimney, I'm not so sure. We clock in with an in-game time of 2 hours and 17 minutes, so we really gotta pick up the pace here. Unfortunately, he leads off with Mightyena, who is faster, has Intimidate, and Sand Attack. Mightyena goes for Bite, no flinch thankfully. We go for Ancient Power, no boost. However, we do get a critical hit. Maxie heals, and despite our accuracy drops, Bone Meringue connects and takes out the Mightyena. Against Golbat, the first Ancient Power misses, we get brought to 7 health. Ancient Power does hit and deals less than half. I was expecting a bit more there. Oh boy. So yeah, we're gonna be stuck here for a little bit, and you wouldn't think so because when we think of Maxie on Mount Chimney, we might think of the Emerald version where he has a Zubat instead of a Golbat. I actually think that his team here in Ruby is a bit better in terms of design because Mightyena, Camerupt, and Golbat are pretty formidable for this point in the game. We really should not be fighting trainers with Zubat after the 3rd gym. And here in this solo Cubone run, you'd think that we'd have the advantage against Maxie because he does have a Camerupt, a fire type, but we're slow, we don't hit very hard. He leads off with a Pokemon who has Intimidate and loves to use Sand Attack, which we have no answer for. I figure, hey, since it's nothing but luck to get through this fight without over-leveling, might as well be relying on Ancient Power anyway. The Secret Power is nice here too because on mountaintops, Secret Power has a 30% chance to cause confusion. Also, we can be flinched off of Bite from both Mightyena and Golbat because we are slower. By some miracle, we end up KOing Mightyena despite our multiple accuracy drops. We hit Golbat with Ancient Power and we get the Ancient Power boost. It's worth noting that we are still slower and we are still missing like crazy. It's battles like this where you really take Sand Attack for granted in a casual playthrough. In a casual playthrough with a full team, it's more than a minor inconvenience. In the solo runs, it just might be the most dangerous move to get hit by. Sand Attack, Smokescreen, Flash, all that not fun stuff. We do defeat Maxie, but at what cost? My sanity? Well, I never had much of that anyway, so I'd say I paid a small price for that victory. We're still sub 2.5 hours before Flannery, so that's pretty cool. She is the Fire-type gym leader. Nothing should go wrong here, right? Ominous, obvious foreshadowing. By some miracle, we are faster than Slugma. That's our base 35 speed in action. You love to see it. We're gonna be faster than Torkoal too, don't worry. But Torkoal is also tanky, survives Bone Meringue, the sun's up, and Overheat takes us down in one hit. Yeah, Cubone hasn't been faring very well in Hoenn, and we haven't even gotten to the abundance of water yet. We do have Focus Energy, and we do get punished getting brought to 35 health. Let's hope we don't get hit again by a special move anyway. And check out Ancient Power in action thanks to the boost. Now, Bone Meringue does well over half damage on the first hit, so we can take out Torkoal safely with a one-shot because we did not miss. Against Norman, turn 1, Focus Energy, Yawn. We have a Chesto Berry for this. Ancient Power must have felt like it tickled slacking there. And hey, 90 accuracy in action. So of course, slacking gets a 6.25% chance to crit us with Facade and take us out. Well, that could have gone better. Now this is a battle where our pretty good defense is going to come into play here, because Norman's best attacks are normal moves, which all use physical in Generation 3. But thankfully, we do have base 95 defense, so we could be taking way more damage here. And if we can make it to Slacking 2 loves to use Focus Punch because of its high base power. In most instances in Ruby Sapphire, it's just a matter of getting through the first Slacking and Vigoroth, and with Focus Energy at our disposal, this will be a lot more manageable. I do think that in addition to Focus Energy buffing our crit chance, that we will need an Ancient Power boost to get through this fight. No way are we outspeeding anything here, but we're not going to need to because we are pretty tanky as far as Norman's team is concerned. We do unfortunately get put to sleep again and stay asleep for quite a while. However, as we wake up Ancient Power, there's our 10% boost. Thanks to that, Boomerang finishes off Slacking 1. As Vigoroth comes out, we take him out with a double critical hit, you love to see it. And Slacking 2 going for Facade right away, that's unusual, but I don't mind that. We won anyway because Boomerang is awesome. Next up is the Institute Rival Battle, and normally we just kind of gloss over this one, but I really can't here because it's raining out. And Wailmer has Water Pulse, the same type attack bonus, and the damage buff from Rain Dance, and Grovyle has Leaf Blade. Can you guess what happened in this battle? Well, we did almost lose to Wailmer right out of the gate, which is pretty funny, because that, never happens. I think the only other time this battle was difficult was in our Onyx run, but that makes more sense because Onyx is double weak to both water and grass. And I wasn't kidding, we actually almost lost to Wailmer. If we got crit, we wouldn't have made it past May's first Pokemon. And it's pretty clear to me that we are not getting through this fight without absurd luck. It's raining outside. We don't have access to Sunny Day yet, that's actually locked behind this battle. Otherwise, this would be a bit more manageable because at the very least we could cut Wailmer's Water Pulse damage by quite a bit. Now, Onyx might have had trouble with this fight, I bring it up because, it's an Onyx. We don't expect this level of failure from a Cubone. So, I am ashamed to say that we're actually going to be using a ton of rare candies to get by this battle. Okay, this is a first for this series. However, we do gain access to Double Edge, which is quite the upgrade from Secret Power, and because we have Rockhead, we have no worry about recoil damage. And obviously, Numel is no problem at all. I said first Pokemon, we get by Numel no problem. Wailmer might as well be the first Pokemon. We do get the Omni Boost, and we do get confused off a Water Pulse, and we get brought down quite low. Our Citrus Berry brings us up. We crit Wailmer, and hopefully we can take out Grovyle the same way. We hit ourselves in confusion. Leaf Blade does not crit us. However, as we go for Double Edge, we do crit Grovyle. Next up is Winona. Not too worried about her. Swallow goes for Double Team, and not only do we not miss, we crit and one-shot it with Ancient Power. Great start. Pelipper isn't quite trolly, only hitting us with a single Water Gun before going down to Double Edge. Skarmory brings us to 91 health before we take it out with a critical Ancient Power. Altaria comes out, paralyzes us with the Dragon Breath. No Ancient Power boost, but Winona is going to be caught in a small healing loop here, so we can take her out because we don't lose a turn of paralysis, only taking a weak Dragon Breath in the process. First try victories, man. It feels like it's been a lifetime since we got one of those. Now I have a special ally for us in the Tate and Liza battle. Introducing to you, ladies and gentlemen, Shiny Tailo. Oh yeah. You know, with something this awesome that we gotta fly around on our shiny pal here. Anyway, thanks to Hidden Power Ghost, this battle won't be as bad, although Solrock does have Sunny Day and Solar Beam. It's rare that Solrock is the more challenging of Tate and Liza's team. Solrock does go for Sunny Day, Lunatone misses with Hypnosis, and we take out the Crescent, leaving this battle a one-on-one. Now, Solrock could just take us out right away with Solar Beam. That would be the smart move, right? Well, this is Tate and Liza we're talking about, so naturally, they decide the best course of action is Flamethrower. That is still dangerous because it could burn us, but it doesn't here. And it's just like the Twin Stars heard me. They're like, oh, you want Solar Beam? Well, here's Solar Beam for you, Roz. Eat that. Okay, well, I guess I got put in my place there. Still, though, this won't be too difficult. We're going to need Solrock and Lunatone to waste a turn, with Hypnosis missing preferably, and Sunny Day, or having Solrock be the one to take out our Tailo. we can just have Talos spam focus energy. It doesn't affect the battle in any way. Lunatone goes for Hypnosis, misses. Solrock does take out Tailo with Flamethrower. Again, we need a second Pokemon just to battle these two guys. I decided to get real greedy and go for Ancient Power here. Not only that, but that should prevent Hidden Power from bringing Solrock to healing range. I misclick, but we get the Omni Boost, so I'll take that trade-off, and we do survive an attack from Solrock. Tate and Liza use a Hyper Potion on Solrock, but we two-shot Solrock with our attack boost, so that was a pretty clean victory. If lucky, because again, I didn't mean to go for Ancient Power. Next up is the final Maxie battle, and of course we have to contend with Intimidate. No Sand Attack this time, although Mightyena does have Swagger and Scary Face. It does go for Scary Face here because we are actually faster, if you can believe it. Maxie heals, we go for Ancient Power, 90% chance in action there. We're gonna go for it again. We end up getting hit by Swagger, so no boost, but we still have a +1 to our attack, albeit we are confused. Crobat's next. It goes for Air Cutter, dealing a little bit of damage, but surprisingly enough, I didn't expect this. One shot with Ancient Power. Last is Camerupt. We tank Earthquake with a bit of health remaining, and I can't say the same for Camerupt because it's a one-shot. Now, next up is Wallace, and I did try this battle a couple of times before using some rare candies and leveling up. And what you're about to see is the third attempt. We got, I'm not going to say destroyed the first round, but the second round we got an attack drop from Aurora Beam, so that was a reset. Here is the third attempt against Wallace. Love Disc as a one-shot with a double edge. That Ancient Power against Whiscash was to ensure that we could take it out with Earthquake. We go for Ancient Power against Cilio. Yeah, Earthquake would deal more damage, but hey, might as well try it for a boost, right? Sadly, no luck there. Seaking is next. It's a one-shot with Earthquake. Miluda goes for Ice Beam and deals quite a bit of damage. We deal quite a bit of damage in return with Earthquake. We Earthquake as Wallace heals, and Ice Beam brings us to 10 hit points, and then we finish off the Miludic. I really thought that would take more than 3 tries. Now, you saw us use a bunch of rare candies before the Weather Institute rival battle, so we got more because we have Pickup. Pickup in Ruby Sapphire is so deliciously broken. I have no idea how that made it to the final cut of the game. Like, seriously, you get rare candies and full restores the moment you catch a Zigzagoon at the beginning of the game. It's pretty wild. Anyway, before we battle the League, we did some errands, and keep that in mind for a little bit later. One of those errands was picking up a White Herb to cancel out Intimidate there. And we go for Earthquake. I don't know if the critical hit was necessary, but there's no kill quite like Overkill. Now, Mightyena, Sharpedo, Absol, and Cacturn are all one-shots, and then we get to Shiftry. Watch this. Thanks to Double Team, we miss, and miss, and miss, and we don't one-shot Shiftry, which is troubling. We missed so many times, in fact, that after getting hit by Swagger, I was like, let's go for Hidden Power Ghost, and yeah, we actually connected with it. That was fun. Next up is Phoebe, and get ready for an absolutely insane battle. We don't match up all that well against her, and unlike in Emerald, Dusclops 1 will not go for Protect right away. It likes Curse, if anything. Phoebe might like Curse, but our Cubone really likes critical hits on turn 1. Deals great damage to Dusclops 2, but we get hit by Ice Beam, and we are frozen. Thankfully, it's not Gen 1, so we can Defrost, which we do here with a pinch of health left and take out the Dusclops. Oh boy. Not only do we take out Dusclops, we outspeed the rest of the team, and with Earthquake, it's a one-shot sweep. Man, Sydney and Phoebe's battles felt like they had the pacing of a professional wrestling match. To that I say goodnight, Irene. Ain't nobody sticking around long after finishers like that. Glacia leads off with Glalia. It goes for Hail. We go for Ancient Power and bring it down to healing range so we can try again for an Omni Boost. And hey, we get one. That is beautiful. She sends out one of her 2 Celio, and we are now faster thanks to Ancient Power, and we one-shot it. Well, we don't one-shot it, and we unfortunately get hit by Blizzard. It's worth noting that in Gen 3, Hail does not buff Blizzard's accuracy to 100 the way that Rain Dance does to Thunder. On this next attempt here, we get brought down to half with Ice Beam right away, and we get the Ancient Power boost right out of the gate. You love to see it. Thanks to that, Glalia is a one-shot after being healed, and so too is the first of 2 Cilio. Oh, what's that? A second Ancient Power boost? Why, thanks, game. I will happily take that. Okay, with 2 boosts and the Soft Sand to buff Earthquake's damage, yeah, we should definitely be fine. And, shocker, we are. Next up is Drake, the Dragon Trainer, and if you remember the move list at the start of the run, yes, Cubone, for some inexplicable reason, can learn Ice Beam, But we're gonna go through this fight as long as we can without using it, just to give ourselves a bit of a challenge here. And I don't mind if we get hit by a rock tomb, we will, because we didn't one-shot Shell Gun with Earthquake. We're gonna be slower than everything else on Drake's team anyway, so I don't mind the speed drop. The thing about Drake's team in Ruby Sapphire is that 4 of his 5 members are double weak to ice. And while Cubone hardly has what we'd call an amazing special attack stat, we are high enough of a level to where that should cancel out and be strong enough to one-shot everything else on Drake's team. That really seems to be the case here, although we are taking damage, and Salamence will hit us with Dragon Claw, which is special in Generation 3, still not enough. So, remember before we started the Elite Four when I said I was going to run errands? Well, I meant to go pick up Flamethrower because I mentioned at the start of the run, Sunny Day plus Flamethrower would be pretty good against Steven, right? Especially against the Skarmory, whom he leads off with. While I'm playing, I actually don't notice this, but, you probably did. I forgot to buy Flamethrower, but I have the TM for Sunny Day, so, E for effort, I guess. Now, I didn't notice it here because I wanted to do a little bit of a test battle here just to see how much damage Ancient Power dealt. And if we got some boosts, at least one anyway, how much damage we might be able to deal with Skarmory with Double Edge. Yes, I really just said deal with Skarmory with Double Edge. I like keeping flubs in like that because they're funny to me. I wasn't expecting that swap in, and this gives us a valuable piece of information here. Not that Aggron is pathetic, but that after Skarmory, this battle should be smooth sailing. But we have no good answers for Skarmory. Now, it wouldn't be that big of a deal because Ancient Power does deal neutral damage. The thing is that Steel Wing has a chance to buff Skarmory's already massive defense by 1 stage. It also has a chance to miss, so you can count on the AI never missing with it. And we have Rest to circumvent Toxic, at least somewhat. Skarmory can also waste a turn using Spikes. And it's like I said, once Skarmory goes down, I mean, we don't have a great answer for Cradilly, but Earthquake, thanks to its part rock type, helps deal massive damage. And Steven does seem to consistently switch out Skarmory as we're trying to chip away at it. I'm not sure why, that's a very strange AI quirk, because Skarmory could theoretically outlast us. And yes, this battle really should be over by now. It's entirely player error why Cubone is stuck here. If we had Flamethrower, this fight would be absolutely trivial. We actually don't need Ancient Power for this fight, and yeah, Armaldo is weak to it, but Earthquake is still gonna deal more damage. But I guess if we did want an Ancient Power boost, well, if we don't get one off of Skarmory, and if by the grace of the gods old and new, we still have Ancient Power points remaining, Armaldo would be the way to go there. We'd have to tank a Water Pulse, but at least it doesn't get the same type attack bonus from it. Now, we know through observing this battle that once Skarmory is out of the picture, whether Steven swaps him out or if we KO it, we should have smooth sailing going forward. The one benefit to this mistake is that Steven will use one of his 4 full restores on Skarmory. Now, we are doing a pretty good job at chipping away at it. Steven will not heal Skarmory a second time, so before we take it out, might as well go ahead and go for Rest. We have a Chesto Berry to wake up right away too, so that Steel Wing is obsolete. Skarmory's down, Aggron of course goes down. Giga Drain actually hurts Cradilly here because Steven will not heal it now. We deal more than enough damage for a 2-shot. Armaldo's a 1-shot. And look at Claydol's Earthquake, what little damage that dealt. That's Cubone's defense coming in clutch for the final battle. Metagross may be mighty, but it's no match for an overleveled Cubone's Soft Sand-powered Earthquake. I gotta say, this run was a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be. Like, I knew it was going to be difficult, but man, Cubone struggled quite a bit. And unfortunately for this little fella, even with my player error, there's just no way that Cubone was going to be able to beat Trapinch in level or time. At level 76, Cubone clocks him with a final in-game time of 6 hours and 50 minutes. And now this is going to make Cubone pretty easy to rank here. Level 76, almost 77, so 76 anyway, because if he leveled up off of Metagross, I wouldn't count that final level up as it was the final Pokemon, and contributes nothing to the run. 76 is the C tier. The 6 hours 50 minutes is the B tier, however, with how lucky Cubone had to get by Skarmory, and with its general subpar performance, I cannot put it in the B tier with sincerity. Nope, that's going to be in the C tier. Still, this run was pretty fun. And you know what else is going to be fun? Our 3rd Invasive Species versus about Nuzleaf versus Lombre and Pokemon Fire Red. See you guys there.